So two very common questions are, can we create our own characters in CreateStudio 3? And can I use the actions of the characters from CreateStudio with my own? The answer is no. This isn't a character creator or rigging program, but it's an amazing program to use the character actions that they have and create quick and easy. If you want to be able to create your own, there is a learning curve with that. There's many programs that can do that, but you're going to want to explore a different option if you want that flexibility. In November, when they updated CreateStudio Pro to CreateStudio 3, they did give us the 3D Creator. Right now we have 2 characters, more are on the way. And these you have a lot more flexibility with. You're still bound by the actions that they have, but they have a lot. But you also have facial expression. You also are able to do rotating in 360 degrees. And there's a lot of things that you can do with that. But they are limited to the characters here. You can't bring in your own to use these features. I have some tutorials on that I can link in the description. So if you're still interested in all the things that you can import, and you should be because there's a lot, this is from their support page, and it tells you all of the different files that you can do. And you can do it by search keyword as well. And there is so much on here. So this is where the CreateStudio support page will bring you. Here are some main categories, but then you can put in different keywords and it's going to bring up a whole bunch of things. And for instance, here, importing media, they have visuals, and look how quick and easy it is. It's not a whole lot of reading, and it tells you very quickly how to do it. So I would definitely bookmark this page. So I'm going to show you how to import and how to do a whole bunch of things with CreateStudio and animating assets that you import. If you're interested, stick around. So I'll link to some tutorials that will go further in some of these, but I'm going to show you how to import and use some of these files. And what it doesn't say here is Lottie. So it hasn't been updated. I don't think I see that. But here's a Lottie for you. I got a little doggy walking. This is just a Lottie file. I'll show you where I got it, but I just downloaded it from, I think, Lottie Files website. And then I actually did crop the mask just so it wasn't taking the whole thing. And I'm not going to do all of that right now. I can show you how to do that because I'm going to show you what I did with this one. So I did add a shadow if you want to make it look a little bit more with some more depth, but you don't have to. And of course, it's going to depend on your background. But you'll see a difference between these two. And let me show you where I got this. So Icon Scout is good, but there's not a dog. I wanted to get something that showed how to animate the walking. The Lottie Files has some good. I loved this one, and they come in a couple different colors, but I didn't like the line. But when I looked, there weren't really a lot of other ones. This one's kind of funny if you want a naughty dog. So for instance, if I want this, you're just going to click on it, and then you can download it. It's not bringing me to where I was able to download different file forms, but what I did with this one is, let me get my trusty media place. I did a bunch of downloads of different ones. These first ones I really like, but I'm going to show you animating walking, but I liked these loading ones. They were kind of cool. But I got 2 dogs. This one's cute. Here's the Lottie. He's cute. But I took this one because I wanted to show, you can't see the line because it's a dark background. I did take this one because I wanted to show you how we can sometimes get rid of that. But if you see, I didn't completely get rid of it. I couldn't because it cut off his legs, a little bit of the bottom of his legs. Let's bring that to where his feet are at their lowest point. See how it touches that? So how did I do that? I selected it. I detached the mask. I'm on the wrong one, sorry. I was zoomed in too far. I select it. I detach the mask, and there's where as far as up as I could go, because if I went any more to get rid of that dark line, it cut off his feet a little bit. So it's also going to depend on the Lottie that you find. You might find them without the line, but I just wanted to show you that you can sometimes adjust it a little bit. And this is so light, depending on the background that you have, you may not even notice it. But what did I do here? So here it is when it comes in, when you drag and drop it in. I am going to hide the one that I did. So here's my little guy. I'm going to get rid of the black if I can by detaching the mask. I went too much. I did better the first time. So I don't want to take this too much time. You're going to have to play with that. I cut it off a little bit too much, but I want to show you how to animate it. So I'm going to bring him off screen. I'm going to resize him too because he's a little big. I'm going to bring him off screen, and you can just animate it like any other element. I'm going to add an animation, linear, position, go to my end keyframe, and bring in my little doggy. I am using my shift and right arrow key. So of course you can make him go as fast or as slow as you want, depending on how long your keyframe is. So here he's kind of taking a little bit of a stroll. You could also make him go much faster. And I didn't make him go all the way off, but you can. So here he just runs really fast. Well, that's super fast. But just to show you, you can really play with it however you want it. Now, do you want him to go even slower? Then what I did is, there he goes really slower. But what I did is I put 2 Lottie files next to each other. So I had one and the second one. I grouped them. So let me show you very quickly. I'm going to ungroup them. So I have my 2 Lottie files next to each other. Select both. I can right click and group or use Command G. I can put him off on the end. I can add an animation of linear. I can go to the end, and then he might get a little crooked, but I'm just going to do this quickly. And I grab it to the end. So there he goes. And the reason you have to group them is here is the single character. If it's a Lottie, you can't click and drag it longer. But because they're the same, you can just add as many in a row that you want and animate that. So how about some other formats? Oops, sorry, I have that wrong. I'm going to take the GIF. I'm just going to click and drag it from Media Place into CreateStudio. I don't know if that went in. You can just, I just have my windows are all messed up. So I am going to add that to CreateStudio. See how quick that goes? Your different formats are going to take longer or shorter. Gifs are pretty quick. The Lottie, I think it took about a minute, and I'll show you another piece. But what I did is I had downloaded this as a GIF with a transparent background, but it doesn't look so good. It's kind of pixelated, where this one looks much smoother. But I think I also downloaded the smallest with the smallest amount of whatever you call it. I'm not an expert, but I wanted to show you with a GIF, just like with the same character. Here, you don't have to duplicate and add the action. Add the next one next to it to keep it going. Here, you can just change how many loops you want. So if I want 3 loops, it increases it. If I want 2 or 1, then you can do it. So you don't have to do the duplicating like you do for the Lottie. So I did just stop, and I wanted to check something out, because when I import the webm, I like webm with transparency. I don't know why. I think I heard that it's a smaller file size, but just like with the GIF, it's not coming out too good. So I'm just going to click and drag that from Media Place into CreateStudio and see how quick that was, and click and drag it. It's not looking too good. So I actually stopped recording so I could check and see why that might be the case. And the reason is a free account, you don't get good ones. So that will make a difference on what you're able to use. So 150 by 150 was the only option I had. But here is the webm. And you can animate that just like the Lottie that I showed you. And go to the end and go here. Now, actually, I forgot to check on the Lottie. I'm not sure. Let's check really quick and see if we can change with clip speed. I know you can with the webm. You can make it shorter or longer. But let's go and see. I didn't even think to check on a Lottie if I can change the clip speed of this guy. So let's grab clip speed. And I have to move this because that is a little bit, I don't love how that always gets in my way. So I'm going to click on what I put clip speed on, go to effects, click. And actually, yeah, you can do that. So that's actually, see, I learned something new every day. I could have done that instead of doing the duplicating. So there you go. There's something we both learned. So there's how you can bring in the webm, and you can make it longer or shorter. Now, it's going to take longer with MOV files. I don't think that went in. Hold on a second. Let me move this over a little bit. I'm trying to use too many applications. It's not hard. You can also just do it from, why is it always difficult when I'm doing this? It's usually very easy. There we go. When you drag or import it into CreateStudio, don't worry, that was my error on why it was so hard to get in there. It's not hard. You're going to want to take it with transparency. This goes faster but the transparency is going to take a little longer. So click with transparency and then, oh, that one didn't take long at all. Sometimes those can take a long while. So here is my MOV file. Here is my webm. And please remember that the Lottie comes out the best. Please remember that's also, they were really bad resolutions because I only have a free account. I thought I must have closed that window. But that's all you really have to do. And you get to, I'm sorry I'm babbling because I'm trying to see where I'm going. If you have better resolution, that will look better. But those are the different options that you can use for animated items that you can bring in. You can also bring in green screen, but to be honest, if you have a choice of saving a file, save it as a transparent MOV or webm. Here, if I want to print this screen, I can publish it as a webm with transparency, or a MOV file with transparency. So you can do that from CreateStudio. You can also print images with transparency. So if in your other if you're in your other applications, you're creating characters that you want to bring in, because you can't bring in any PSD formats or anything like that, so that you can't animate it. But if you animate in a different program, you can bring them in as all of these formats. Just make it transparent. You can use the green screen. So if you go under effects and components, you can remove any kind of green screen. So let's see, I didn't download any green screen. So I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take time to do that right now. But why am I not getting back to my multiple windows is not working well today. But just like any other effect or component, you're going to put that on, and then you would select here the green. I'm going to select the black. But if you had green, it would select the green and remove it, and then you would play around with this similarity and the smoothness and spill. You're just going to play around with all of that. So you can do it that way as well. But again, if you have a choice, bring in the Lottie or the webm with transparency, or the MOV file with transparency, or a GIF with transparency, and it's just going to make your life easier. So I did stop again because I had gone on and talked about some audio files, but I forgot to tell you some of the other ways to get media into your project, and how you can keep them readily available, which I meant to do, but I just talk and then I forget. So I did the click and drag from Media Place. You can click and drag from a folder on your desktop. You can click and drag from any of your files that you have, or you can even just click here for import media. And now I can import, I did put a Lottie file in there, and you can see how long that's going to take. So you can import it that way as well. I just always tend to go to the click and drag. The other thing, especially with some that may take a little longer, like bigger files or transparent backgrounds, you can also do a couple things. You can, let's go back to my better Lotties. So say you want to keep this, you can just click and drag, create a group. You can either right click and group it or do Command G, which is what I tend to do. Then you can save it to your scenes, and then they'll be in your scenes. And when you leave this project, You can open another project, go to your scenes, click and drag it, and now you have that project, which is going to get confusing because there's two of them. So you do have that option. You also have the option, and I can just show you how you can get rid of these too, because I'm not going to want that. So you can always go back and then just delete it, and it's gone. The other thing that you can do is you can save it to your global folder. So how do you do that? You would just right-click, copy to global. Then you go to global, and it will be there. And then you can just add it to any kind of, so say I want to add it to a folder that says Lottie, I can add a folder, and at the bottom, it's always going to go to the bottom. I can rename it Lottie Files, and then I can just click, hold, and drag it down to that folder. And there it is. Now that will be accessible to you in any of your projects, just like your My Scenes. So you can save it, and then you won't have to spend all the time to upload it again. Like, it can take some time. The Lottie here is now ready, but some of them can take a much longer time. So that was one I just added. So those are the My Scenes, and then the global folders are two ways that you can keep projects, images and little projects in your CreateStudio app. And I did show, I have another tutorial that shows how to migrate. So if you want to keep refreshing or share it with another device, if you have a laptop and a computer and you want to make sure that they have the same global folders and fonts and scenes, you can migrate those projects, and I'll link to that tutorial in the description as well. So now I'm going to stop this. I think I said everything I wanted to say, I hope. Let me just, yeah, I think that's all. I should take more notes, but now I'll stop this, and then you can also hear what I had to say about audio files. Now, I didn't plan to do anything with audio, but actually, let me go back to this one. I do have some audio files, and I should have my dog here. Puppy barking. So I'm going to drop that in to CreateStudio, and then I can just add a puppy sound barking as he runs in. So you can add audio files as well. I just was going to focus on the video files for this one, and I can link you to some of the audio files that I've used for link syncing in the description as well. So I did this in like 5 parts, so I hope it was cohesive, and I hope it helped you realize what you can do in CreateStudio. You don't need all those rigging things, but you can bring in anything that you want that fits the file formats that are accepted into CreateStudio. Have fun.